Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another true crime episode with Ushi, whereby I sit down every week and I tell you about a true crime case that has shook and shocked the nation. Today's case, we are going to be talking about the Kavango winter murderers. Since we are in winter, I was like, why not? Let's just do this case. I'll be having some green tea because it's cold, guys. It's like really cold. If you are in Namibia, we can all collectively agree that Mother Nature is not playing. We were complaining a few days ago. We were like, where is winter? Where is winter? Now winter is here. And I don't want to complain. I'm grateful. The weather is nice. I'm loving it. So yeah. Now, without wasting any time, let's just dive into today's case. About 21 people, they have mysteriously disappeared in a time frame of 6 years. Mysterious disappearances have been happening in the northeastern part of Namibia, or Kavango East to be specific. This is bizarre. However, bodies are turning up. A person will disappear, a few days will pass by, and then the person's body will turn up. These bodies are turning up with body parts missing. There are just some parts missing. These bodies are turning up without noses, they are turning up without lips, they are turning up without toes, fingers, internal organs, skin, as well as their private parts. Again, this is strange, right? One of the major similarity is the fact that these bodies are turning up within the same area. They are turning up within the vicinity of these three villages: the village Okapako, the village Rudiva, as well as the village Shantikongoro. These villages are situated on the southeastern banks of the Kavango River, which, by the way, plays a very significant role in today's case. A lifeless body is discovered at Kapako village. This is the body of Ryan Mokuve Kanyanga, who was only 22 years old. Ryan was a student at the University of Namibia, Rundu campus. He was a second-year student studying education. He was the family's only son. He dreamed of finishing his education so that he can become a teacher like his mom. Ryan went missing on the 18th of June 2021. Ryan's case was the first case to actually receive major attention from the media, but it wasn't the first case of its nature to happen in the village. In 2001, Ryan and his friends went on a trip to a memorial service. It was a loved one's memorial service. After the service was over, they decided that they are going to have a couple of beers. Sent Ryan over to go collect the beers. Sent Ryan with 200 Namibian dollars. Beers that he bought were not worth $200, so meaning that there was a certain amount of money that he had to return to his friends. Ryan did not return this money. Disagreement erupted between the group, and then Ryan decided that he is going to run away from the group. He decided to just go a separate way from his friends, and unfortunately that was the last time that Ryan was ever spotted alive. A few days later, his lifeless body is discovered floating in the Kavango River north of Divundu, the site of the Mukwe constituency. When the body is discovered, it is missing some of its parts. The eyeballs were not there, the internal organs were not there, as well as his private parts. Another thing was that the body was discovered cold, as if it had been refrigerated. Ryan was last seen in contact with 8 people. These 8 people were all apprehended by the Hambokushu Traditional Authority. They were apprehended, and then a trial took place, a traditional trial took place, and each of these 8 people were fined 20,000 Namibian dollars, and that is it. That's just how far the case got. And as for the Namibian police, they did not do anything. They just said an investigation is ongoing, and that was it. A year later, in 2022, the body of Felix Tikudengo is discovered. Felix was only 17 years old at the time. His body is discovered in a swamp near the Kavango River in Rudiva village, plus minus the same area where Ryan is discovered. Felix is discovered by his uncle, Basilius Bamba, and I cannot even begin to imagine the horror of having to discover your own family member. Felix was an 17-year-old boy. He was a grade 8 learner at Diana Combined School. His father reported saying that Felix loved sports, he was athletic, and he absolutely loved cultural dances. And also, he was very helpful. He will help his father with chores around the house. I'm going to read a quote from Felix's father. He said, "I miss him. Whenever I see other boys in the village playing soccer, I yearn to see him, but he is gone." This is from his father. His body is discovered naked with some parts missing. His leg was missing. The upper part of his arm, the flesh was cut off. His internal organs were missing, as well as his private parts. 3 people are arrested in connection of Felix's death. They are Stephen, Kandere, and Munduva. They are arrested by the police officers. One of the evidence that were found in possession of one of the suspects is they were having the victim's cap as well as his sandals. These people were arrested, they were sent to jail, and then they were released on bail of 6,000 Namibian dollars each. Tavares is also one of the victims. Tavares goes missing, and on the 21st of March 2022, his body is found floating in the Kavango River, mutilated and burnt with acid. There were actually also other people who disappeared and then they were never ever discovered. We are talking about people like Alphonsine, who was only 76 years old at the time. On the 30th of June 2022, Alphonsine left her home. Sometimes she will go down to the river to go collect some parched grass. So they assumed that this particular day that is exactly what she did. But then she went down to the river and then she disappeared, and that was the last everybody had seen of her. Nobody was ever discovered, nothing was ever discovered. She just disappeared. They tried looking for her. They traced her footsteps all up until the riverbank, and then from there they just disappeared. They actually called the police officers, who arrived 3 days later in a boat. They tried searching the river and they couldn't find anything, and that was it. The case was closed. It became a cold case. In 2021, after the discovery of Ryan's body, another thing was also discovered. They discovered a trench. When the police officers got to the trench, they just saw that this trench was so professionally well built. It was probably built by somebody who was an expert. They actually called in the military to come and just come have a look at this trench because of how good it was. Inside the trench, they found clothes which allegedly belonged to a soldier who was working in one of the nearby villages, and that was it. I couldn't find any more information on the trench. I guess the case also just stopped there and then it went cold. It was supported by treated wooden poles, and then they had like something like a camouflage draped over it so that if you are passing by you will not be able to see it. It is like, you know, isolated. It is well hidden, so you would not be able to see it at all. And for some reason they did not ask the soldier, or maybe they asked the soldier and the soldier, or maybe the soldier was just never found. So I don't know what happened, but that is all about the trench. Besides the 3 suspects that were arrested in connection with Felix's death and the trench that was discovered after Ryan's body was discovered, that is basically all that the police officers have. Obviously, because of this, the residents of the villages, the residents of Kavango East are outraged. They feel like the police can do better. Same, I also feel the same. They feel like the police officers can just, or should go out there and try to solve these murders, because there's just no way that a person can live in a village in fear of their safety. Every single morning you are waking up, you are scared that this could be your day, because there are just people out there who are roaming around while killing people at the same time. So they have protested, they have written petitions, they have done everything that they can possibly do to make sure that the police takes the case seriously and then something can be done. I find it confusing that somebody is building a trench in the middle of nowhere and nobody has seen anything. We are talking about small villages, so small to the point whereby if something happens in the morning, by the end of the day at night, you would already know what has happened. People have already heard. You're telling me that these people, none of these people could hear somebody building a trench in the middle of the forest. Nobody could hear anything. When they were transporting these wooden poles, when they were transporting this equipment, these materials that they were using to build this trench, you are telling me that nobody saw anything. I don't believe that. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. Somebody out there knows something. I understand why they are scared of saying something, because anything that has to do with witchcraft, Namibians do not want to get involved. They will not say anything. But all I'm saying is that all you got to do is just call the police on an anonymous tip and then you tell them what's going on. Like, come on guys, let's just help the police officers get the people, or get to the bottom of this and arrest the people who are doing this, who are responsible for this. So let's just do that. That's my 2 cents on this case. I would like to say that thank you so much for choosing my channel once again. Drop in your comments in the comment section. You know, I always love to hear what your thoughts are. I always love to hear what you are thinking. What do you think of today's case? And with that, I would like to say bye. I will see you guys in the next case. Bye.